I'm Angela White, and this is my CrossFit story. We have 4 kiddos, and they're all a little older now. People hear that, they assume that they're younger, but they're 24, 22, 20, Ian's about to be 18, our youngest, Taylor, Jordan, Brittany, Ian. And I have always been an active person, but then you're in motherhood and that kind of goes to the wayside, and maybe you're at the YMCA a few days a week because the kids are doing stuff. You try to do like T24 in the basement and it gets really boring because it's the same. And when my oldest, Taylor, was a sophomore in high school, and this is my CrossFit story, but when he was a sophomore in high school, it was pretty crazy. His passion, tri-sport athlete, one of his passions was baseball. It's actually probably the sport that he loved the most. And he was a sophomore. We had lived life on baseball fields. My husband played college baseball, and he got cut from the high school baseball team, mostly because he wasn't focused on one sport, because he also wrestled and did football. And when he got cut, I think I was the one that was most devastated. It actually wound up being a huge gift in disguise because he got into CrossFit. He wanted to get stronger. He wanted something that would challenge him. So when he got cut from baseball, he started throwing on the track team and he got started at CrossFit. No one really quite understood CrossFit at that time. Gosh, that would have been in 2013. Like it was becoming popular, becoming more on the mainstream with games and regionals and all that stuff. So he got started at CrossFit, and my husband was like, yeah, you want to focus on that, strength, nutrition? Absolutely. We will pay for your box membership. And a while after he got started, he said, Mom, you'd love this. Mom, you would love this. You should totally come. Mom, you would so love this. And I was like, that's your thing. Like, I don't have time. And 4 kiddos, husband who was in the military at the time, wound up retiring from the military, but I'm a business owner. We have a full plate, right? CrossFit's not gonna fit in there, and that's your deal. That's your deal, Taylor. But all the kids were athletes, so you're running them all around to all the stuff on the weekends, on weeknights, and then we've got youth group. We've got all the full plate stuff of a family of 6. And he loved CrossFit so much. The community would come home and say, Miles said this, Tammy showed me this today, oh my gosh, Smalls did this, and Mom, guess what happened? And he loved that community. And we watched him flourishing and growing. Well, starting CrossFit in his sophomore year after getting cut from the baseball team actually led to him focusing in and still doing football, still doing wrestling. They were state champions his junior and senior year, his senior year in football, and then he was runner-up state wrestling. He that boy was wrestling heavyweight, and he probably weighed 207, 210 at the time. My husband could tell you the exact numbers, but he jumped in, and because of the challenge of CrossFit, he wrestled heavyweight and was runner-up. Should have won that night, but winning doesn't necessarily produce as much character as getting second place does, and he took home the silver medal, completely unheard of, but it was that dedication from CrossFit that here we are as his parents watching all of this. So he went off to Grand Canyon University to wrestle with the promises of a scholarship at a D1 school, and they actually cut the wrestling team. That was a bummer. Cut the wrestling team a year after he was there. He had redshirted his freshman year, but he kept doing CrossFit. He found the box at GCU, and he was a member there. And when he'd come home to Colorado Springs on holidays and summers, he was a mountain guide, but he would just jump right back in. And it was crazy to see my son getting up bright and early on Thanksgiving morning to go and, Mom, I'm gonna go get a wad in at Pandora's, and we're doing the turkey and the pies. We're like, all right, and I'm gonna go get fit the WOD in before Thanksgiving. Okay, you're not sleeping in, all right. But that's the dedication and the discipline that came into his life, which is why he was able to do so many of the things that he was able to do. And that's a part of my CrossFit journey. Because it was April 8th, 2018. He's a junior at GCU. 20 days before his wedding, he had just found out that he was gonna be interning for the Kansas City Royals spring team, summer team, however that works, in Phoenix the following year, and he was killed in a hit and run in his junior year pursuing athletic training, in a hit and run right off the Grand Canyon University campus. And we'd already had the conversations that I was going to start CrossFit right after the wedding. The wedding was going to be the end of April. And I said, all right, bud, because he kept saying, Mom, you would so love this. Like, you've got to do it, and you love the community, and they need you there, and you need there. And so I had already determined that I was going to start CrossFit right after he and Sarah got married the end of April. And on April 8th, he wasn't on this earth anymore. And I walked into that CrossFit box on May 8th to start my fundamentals class. Would have been the same day. Would have been the same day post-wedding, but now it was post my son being killed. And Miles came with me. He said, I don't want you to do this first one alone. He came with me and did the fundamentals class and walked through that first WOD. I thought I was gonna puke. I didn't know that I would make it through. It was like pull-ups and push-ups and just really basic things, sit-ups that I couldn't really do. And that's where my personal CrossFit journey started, even though it had been going for a long time. So I ended that WOD with tears streaming down my face, not being able to breathe. I could barely walk down the stairs as I walked out, but I knew they would never get rid of me, and that Taylor was right. And I loved that gym, and I loved that community, and I was falling in love with CrossFit as a whole. And that was May 8th, 2018. And I used a PVC bar, PVC pipe, and a training bar for like months. And I could not get the difference between what the heck is a muscle up and what's a pull up, and what's power, what's squat, what are all these things. But I kept coming and I kept showing up 3 and 4 times a week, and Taylor's community became my community, and Taylor's passion became my passion, and they weren't ever going to get rid of me. That was May 8th, 2018, and the box that was Taylor's box and Taylor's family actually closed their doors September of 2020. And as they were closing their doors, Miles and Elodie, some of the members, had started a scholarship in Taylor's honor for those that wanted to get their L1s. Because Taylor wanted to get his L1. His dream was to do athletic training and get his L1, start coaching, and then open his own CrossFit box. That was his dream. He loved it so much, the way that it changes lives, no matter your age, no matter your physical condition, no matter your limitations. It changes you. And so with that scholarship, they had given that out to 6 recipients, and COVID hit, and our box closed down for multiple reasons. And Miles and Elodie came to me and said, we want to gift you the final L1 out of the Taylor White Memorial CrossFit Scholarship. And I was in shock, and had considered it, really felt like I should, but what do you do with that? What do you do with that? Like, I don't know that I want to coach. I don't know that I'm that, like I'm a business coach, I want to do this in CrossFit, but I just had this feeling like, yeah, I'm totally supposed to do that. So when they approached me, lots of emotion, and I knew I was supposed to do it, and I was supposed to fulfill my son's dream. So we did. January of 2021, I went out to Mayhem, right? Because if you're gonna do your L1, Taylor loves Rich Froning, like looks up to him so much. One of the only books he's ever read, cover to cover, that wasn't for school, was Rich Froning's book. And so I went out to Mayhem, which is absolutely where Taylor would have gotten us to L1. And it was an incredible weekend that was grueling. And oh my gosh, the snatch clinic and the muscle up clinic. And I did not think I had passed that test. I did not think I had passed that test. And when we got the email a week later saying, congratulations on your L1 CrossFit certification, there were lots of tears and cheers and all the things. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with that. I do have a heart for seniors. I do have a heart for generations coming into CrossFit, and I get it now. When he said, Mom, you're gonna love this. And CrossFit has really changed our family. The determination, the discipline, the motivation that it's brought in for all of us. I'm the one that does it now, but it's really changed our family. And that's my CrossFit story. So grateful that after Pandora's closed down, I was able to find my way, find my place here to CrossFit NCS, and just the community that was already here, that was already existing, the environment that Tim and Ann have created of being for each other. We're all for each other. There's no levels. There's no, you can do this, I could do this. Is there competition? Yeah, I'm not competitive. I'm competitive with myself, but are we competitive with each other? Yes, others are. But the environment here and to continue and realizing that this is not just nationwide, not just global, but it's something that is all over and progressive through time. It's not just right here and now. This is an ongoing thing. So my CrossFit home is CrossFit NCS now, and I'm so grateful that this is where I've landed. So that's my CrossFit story.
Okay.